Why don't I know you?
I'm new. I just moved here from Africa.
What?
I used to be homeschooled.
Wait, what?
My mom taught me at home.
No, I know what homeschool is. I'm not retarded. So you've actually never been to a real school before?
What happens when the brightest star in Hollywood's sky suddenly begins to fade? In just a few years, Lindsay Lohan went from adored icon to a cautionary tale, leaving fans stunned and the industry speechless. How could someone so unstoppable fall so fast? Was it personal choices, a toxic system, or the unbearable weight of fame itself? Stay with us, because the truth behind this rise and fall is far more shocking than anyone imagined. This isn't just the story of Lindsay Lohan, it's a case study in modern fame, the grind, the glitter, and the collapse. From a small-town dreamer rehearsing in borrowed mirrors to a global sensation breaking records, every step upward hid a deeper crack below. In this video, we'll trace the early struggle, the meteoric rise, the hidden pain the cameras missed, and the final tipping point. By the end, one question remains: was this fate or a system built to break its brightest? Early struggle. Before Lindsay Lohan became a household name, she was just a little girl from Long Island with dreams far bigger than her small hometown. Born in 1986, Lindsay grew up in a family where ambition and turbulence lived side by side. Her father, often entangled in legal troubles, and her mother, chasing her own share of the spotlight, created an environment where stability was rare. But Lindsay had something that set her apart: raw talent and an undeniable spark. At the age of just 3, she was already working as a child model, appearing in more than 60 television commercials for brands like Pizza Hut and Wendy's. While most kids her age were playing outside or going to birthday parties, Lindsay was being shuffled between casting calls and photo shoots, learning how to smile perfectly on cue. It wasn't just playtime, it was training for a life in front of cameras, a life that demanded perfection even before she understood what it meant. But behind the innocent commercials and adorable charm was a child who was already learning how brutal the industry could be. Rejection wasn't new to her. For every commercial she booked, there were several that slipped away, and Lindsay had to toughen up quicker than most children. She once described auditions as a room full of little girls who all looked like you, hoping you wouldn't get picked. That pressure, even in childhood, shaped her resilience, but also planted seeds of insecurity. Her real break came when Disney noticed her. At just 11 years old, Lindsay landed the lead in The Parent Trap, 1998, where she didn't just act, she carried an entire film playing twin sisters. Critics were stunned by her maturity, charm, and natural presence on screen. Overnight, she wasn't just another child actor, she was a phenomenon. But what people didn't see was the weight that came with that success. A young girl suddenly had the responsibility of a professional adult, and the spotlight that most adults couldn't handle was now fixed on her. Her early struggles were marked by ambition, sacrifice, and a family that often saw her talent as the ticket to escape financial troubles. While the world saw a bright, freckled face smiling on screen, Lindsay's childhood was already being traded for stardom. What should have been a journey of growing up slowly became a sprint that would one day prove too exhausting to keep running. Peak of fame. By the early 2000s, Lindsay Lohan was no longer just a promising child star, she was Hollywood's newest obsession. After the massive success of The Parent Trap, she transitioned seamlessly into teenage stardom, something most child actors struggled to do. In 2003, she headlined Freaky Friday alongside Jamie Lee Curtis, a film that grossed over $160 million worldwide. Suddenly, Lindsay wasn't just the girl who could play twins, she was a leading actress with undeniable star power. But it was in 2004 that Lindsay reached her true peak. At only 17, she starred in Mean Girls, the film that didn't just make her a star, it made her a cultural icon. Written by Tina Fey and directed by Mark Waters, Mean Girls became a generation-defining comedy, turning Lindsay into the face of teen movies worldwide. Every teenager knew her name, every magazine wanted her face on the cover, and every red carpet event had fans screaming for her. She wasn't just an actress anymore, she was a phenomenon. But what people didn't see was the weight that came with that success. A young girl suddenly had the responsibility of a professional adult, and the spotlight that most adults couldn't handle was now fixed on her. Her early struggles were marked by ambition, sacrifice, and a family that often saw her talent as the ticket to escape financial troubles. While the world saw a bright, freckled face smiling on screen, Lindsay's childhood was already being traded for stardom. What should have been a journey of growing up slowly became a sprint that would one day prove too exhausting to keep running. Peak of fame. By the early 2000s, Lindsay Lohan was no longer just a promising child star. She was Hollywood's newest obsession. After the massive success of The Parent Trap, she transitioned seamlessly into teenage stardom, something most child actors struggled to do. In 2003, she headlined Freaky Friday alongside Jamie Lee Curtis, a film that grossed over $160 million worldwide. Suddenly, Lindsay wasn't just the girl who could play twins. She was a leading actress with undeniable star power. But it was in 2004 that Lindsay reached her true peak. At only 17, she starred in Mean Girls, the film that didn't just make her a star, it made her a cultural icon. Written by Tina Fey and directed by Mark Waters, Mean Girls became a generation-defining comedy, turning Lindsay into the face of teen movies worldwide. Every teenager knew her name, every magazine wanted her face on the cover, and every red carpet event had fans screaming for her. She wasn't just an actress anymore, she was a phenomenon.
This period also marked her crossover into music. With her debut album, Speak, 2004, hitting platinum, Lindsay proved she wasn't confined to just one lane. Her songs became anthems for young fans, and music videos kept her presence alive on MTV at a time when it defined pop culture. The press called her the triple threat, an actress, singer, and fashion icon. At just 18, Lindsay had what many spent decades chasing: box office hits, award nominations, chart-topping music, and a growing empire of endorsements and brand deals. She was seated next to Hollywood royalty at award shows and walked runways that even seasoned stars struggled to reach. But while the cameras captured the glamour, the gowns, the laughter, the dazzling lights, what they didn't capture was the exhaustion. Behind the scenes, Lindsay was juggling back-to-back movie shoots, press tours across continents, endless interviews, and constant paparazzi harassment. The world saw perfection, but inside, the cracks were quietly beginning to form. For the moment, though, she was untouchable. Lindsay Lohan wasn't just the star of the moment, she was the moment. And in the early 2000s, it felt like nothing could dim her light. Hidden pain. While the world saw Lindsay Lohan glowing under the red carpet lights, the truth behind those flashes was much darker. Fame had arrived like a tidal wave, and instead of lifting her higher, it began to drown her. At just 18, Lindsay was living the kind of life most adults couldn't handle: 16-hour filming schedules, cross-country promotional tours, and a paparazzi army that stalked her every move. Privacy no longer existed. Her Starbucks runs, late-night drives, and even her arguments with friends were splashed across tabloid covers. But the pressure wasn't just external, it was coming from within. Her family life was turbulent. Her parents' messy relationship often played out in the media, leaving Lindsay caught between them while the world watched. Instead of having a safe space to return to, her personal life became another battlefield. To cope, she found herself drawn into Hollywood's party scene, a world of endless nights, flashing lights, and temporary escapes. Clubs became her sanctuary, but also her downfall. The line between celebration and self-destruction blurred quickly. Behind the glamorous magazine shoots and the confident smile was a young woman battling exhaustion, loneliness, and growing anxiety. She was working non-stop, but the more she achieved, the more was expected of her. Hollywood had built her into its golden girl, but it also demanded that she never falter. When rumors of substance use, reckless nights, and unstable behavior started circulating, the media didn't ask, "Is she okay?" They asked, "What's the headline worth?" Her pain wasn't just about bad decisions. It was about being trapped in a machine that fed on both her success and her mistakes. Every step she took was magnified. Every stumble turned into breaking news. Lindsay was supposed to be living her dream, but behind closed doors, it was quickly becoming a nightmare. She was the girl who had everything, yet felt like she had nothing at all. And the cracks that had started small were now becoming impossible to hide. The downfall. The cracks that once hid behind Lindsay's smile finally shattered into public view. The world that had cheered her rise now turned into an audience hungry for her collapse. It started with late arrivals to sets and missed rehearsals, reports that directors and producers grew frustrated with her reliability. Soon, her reputation as a bankable star began to crumble. But the real spiral began in 2007. At just 21 years old, Lindsay faced multiple arrests for driving under the influence and possession charges. Mugshots of the once beloved Mean Girls star spread across every tabloid and news channel, a haunting contrast to the glamorous red carpet photos the world had once adored. Overnight, Lindsay went from Hollywood's golden girl to its cautionary tale. Studios, once desperate to sign her, backed away. Insurance companies refused to cover her, making her too risky to cast. Projects she had once been lined up for were quietly recast or canceled altogether. Every headline wasn't about her acting or her music anymore. It was about court dates, probation violations, and stints in rehab. And with each scandal, the paparazzi swarmed harder. They followed her into cars, outside courtrooms, even into rehab facilities, capturing every breakdown, every stumble, every tear. Instead of helping, the world consumed her downfall like entertainment. Financial troubles soon followed. Without steady roles, her income dried up, but her lavish lifestyle and legal costs didn't slow down. Friends who once partied with her disappeared when the cameras turned ugly. The same industry that had built her up as its shining star now treated her as untouchable.
By the end of the 2000s, Lindsay Lohan wasn't being celebrated as the future of Hollywood anymore. She was being mocked as its fallen princess. What had begun as small cracks in her perfect image had exploded into a storm that left her career in ruins, her reputation shattered, and her personal life spiraling further out of control. For Lindsay, rock bottom wasn't a single moment. It was a free fall, one the whole world watched in real time. Reflection. Looking back, the story of Lindsay Lohan isn't just about personal mistakes. It's also about a system that thrives on creating stars and then tearing them apart. Lindsay was young, talented, and vulnerable, thrust into a world that demanded perfection but offered no safety net. Every choice she made, good or bad, was amplified under the unforgiving glare of fame. Yes, Lindsay made decisions that hurt her career, missed call times, reckless nights, and brushes with the law. But how much of that was her fault, and how much was the weight of being a teenager forced to live as a product of Hollywood? When the camera should have been turned off, they stayed on. When she needed guidance, the industry pushed her harder. And when she stumbled, instead of support, she became a headline. Her story forces us to question not just the celebrity machine, but also ourselves as an audience. We celebrated her when she was flawless and laughed when she fell apart. The same public that once cheered her rise consumed her downfall like entertainment. Fame doesn't just create idols, it feeds on their destruction. Yet Lindsay's resilience can't be overlooked. Despite years of chaos, she never fully disappeared. She attempted comebacks through films, music, and even stage performances. And though not every attempt succeeded, the fact that she continued trying speaks to a determination most people never see. In the end, Lindsay Lohan's reflection isn't just about one actress. It's about the dangers of instant fame, the absence of boundaries, and the lack of support for those who carry the burden of the spotlight too young. Her journey is both a cautionary tale and a reminder. Behind every headline, there's a human being, fighting battles the world can't see. Lindsay Lohan's story is not over. From Disney's golden child to a fallen icon, her journey is a reminder of how fragile fame can be. She has faced chaos, scandal, and ridicule, yet she still stands, searching for her next chapter. But what should that chapter be? A quiet life away from the spotlight, or a bold comeback to reclaim her legacy? If you were in her place, what would you choose? And should Hollywood do more to protect its brightest stars?